Hi, this is the Campanile podcast. I'm Brayden.
I'm Avantika.
I'm Ziggy.
And I'm Will.
All right, since you guys have a lot more free time over winter break, what have you guys been doing?
Um, well, I think I'm finally getting around to watching Breaking Bad. Uh, Obviously I've heard a lot about the show, and I started briefly last summer, but it kind of moves slowly. But now that since I have a lot of time and not much to do, I think I'm able to be a little bit more invested in it. So that's pretty good. And I watched I watched a movie. I watched Love Actually the other day, and I thought that was a really good Christmas movie as well. And it's been a movie I've been meaning to see for a while. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
I also started watching a new show. I started watching a Korean drama, but it's hard to do college apps with that playing in the background because you actually have to like read the subtitles to understand it. It's actually pretty good. I didn't think I would like love it, but now I'm addicted to it, so I can't stop watching it. Yeah, I also watched Wonder Woman the other day, the new one. It was kind of disappointing. It was 2 hours of like a really slow beginning, and then the last 30 minutes were actually good. But yeah, other than that, I've just been watching a lot of TV and movies and doing college apps.
Yeah, I've been looking for a new show for a while. I've seen the Breaking Bad pilot a couple times, so maybe I'll get invested in the show and start watching it thoroughly. But definitely been on my list for a while. I just watched the Disney movie Soul. Um, I went into it not really knowing what to expect. I heard some very good things about it. It came out on Christmas a couple of days ago. It definitely it wasn't the greatest Disney Pixar movie I've ever seen, but it was deep. It had a lot to do about the meaning of life. I liked it. It was a little bit about jazz music and people in the music industry. I thought that was pretty cool aspect of the movie. I definitely would recommend it. It's not incredible, but it definitely is a great way to spend 2 hours with your family. We definitely enjoyed it and had a fun discussion about it afterwards.
Wait, where did it release?
Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw all the YouTube ads for it. And it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Watch all the Star Wars. That was really random, but I was thinking of Disney Plus. Like, I want to watch them all in order because, like, I've only seen like two of them. It's kind of sad. So I might.
But in order, do you mean like starting from A New Hope or like starting from like the prequels?
I don't know. I don't know which order. So I've been asking people like, what order should I be watching it in?
There's been a lot of argument about that, the correct order to watch it.
Well, it was like released like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. But I saw this video the other day that was like the real way you should watch Star Wars, and it's like it put like every single Star Wars related film together. So it was like, oh, like watch the first one, and then watch something, and then watch like the Clone Wars, which I think is like in between 2 and 3. And I thought that'd be actually like because like that would then like go completely chronologically in like order like the Star Wars universe. And I thought that was like, even though it's not many people actually watch like that because it obviously wasn't released that way. I thought it would be kind of an interesting way to like watch it if like the full timeline.
And there's also that movie Solo. I'm not sure where that fits in, but that wasn't part of like the last trilogy. So like, yeah, there's just a lot of different ways you could go about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they include the Mandalorian in that like order too. Are you supposed to?
I'm not sure. I think it was just movies, but I actually, well, the Clone Wars I think is a TV show, so maybe I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah, the Clone Wars is long. I remember watching like 5 straight seasons when I was like 7, but now I haven't like watched in a while.
Yeah,
Did any of you guys watch The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I watched The Mandalorian season 2. Like it finished last weekend. It was pretty good. Like the first few episodes were kind of slower, but it got good near the end.
I heard the first season's better than the second one.
I would say so. Yeah, the first season was really awesome.
I haven't seen the second season, but yeah, I love the first season. Definitely have to get around to watching that.
I haven't seen any, so maybe I have to watch that next.
Yeah, I think I might have to get around to that. I have like a Disney Plus, but it's like, I think it's like technically my brother's girlfriend's, so I don't have full access to it often.
I'm not sure they still do it, but if you have Verizon, you had free access for a while. That might still be a thing.
Or you can just borrow my Disney.
Oh, I might do that.
Over the break, like I've tried to pick up reading more as like a new thing I should do. But like, have you guys tried to pick up like any new habits or like any good books you recommend?
I can't like cook or bake to like save my life, but I've been making cookies. I don't even know if they're good. I think they're good, but I don't know. I made some cookies and I gave them to some of my friends. But also, I started reading Percy Jackson because I never read that when I was in middle school, and it's really good. I really recommend it.
I remember they tried to make like live actions for those, and they were just so bad. I did not like the what's it called, the Lightning Thief
Really?
at all. Like the movie for it, like I thought it was terrible.
Is that like a common opinion? I thought people like those movies.
Yeah, I thought people
Percy
liked.
Jackson, I thought their reviews were like pretty bad, and like people did not like them. But that could have just been me and like my brother.
I just remember,
But
oh, in sixth grade, like when I lived in Singapore, all my friends were like obsessed with Percy Jackson, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And now I don't know, I'm a senior and I know what they're talking about. It took me like 6 years to finally understand.
like you're talking about cooking, and I feel like cooking is definitely something that like I kind of want to like get into a little bit next semester because like going to like I think when I'm in college like I want to cook a little bit so I don't have to like just get food all the time like from out like I think like cook stuff that I get at home a lot like right before my brother left for college my mom taught him like all his favorite like food recipes like home food recipes and like he cooked a lot during college and like I'm not as big of a foodie as like other people in my family but I still think that it might be a valuable skill that like I need to pick up before college.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty limited with just making eggs and like very, very simple stuff. So I'd like to expand a little bit as well.
Yeah. And I've also lost all my skills from like cooking class in Singapore and foods and
I
nutrition
remember
like
that.
over here. Like I don't have much expertise on me.
Dude, I remember that class was very like interesting. Like we actually did stuff.
Yeah, we did. It was good food too, but like I just can't recreate it.
Yeah, for a while now, I've like wanted to learn cooking. So like every summer, I like try to make new stuff, and I get kind of good. But then every school year starts, I forget everything.
It just takes so much time to like cook.
Yeah.
Like
Is it worth it like to cook for an hour to like eat for like 10 minutes? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I eat cup of noodles.
like I noticed that like I always like the food more like when I cook it. Like
Definitely.
That's true. That's true.
in foods class and but that also might be because like I don't cook very often but like I'm not like a big like egg person but like I remember like in foods class like we made scrambled eggs once and like I that was like probably the best eggs I've ever tasted like yeah I made this you know what I mean like I felt like proud of myself like even though it was probably pretty terrible but like there's like some sort of like satisfaction like eating something like you made but I feel like maybe if you cook for like a long time that like definitely like, wears off.
Yeah, as a parent, like cooking every single night for your family,
Yeah.
at a certain point, I feel like it would get pretty boring.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Much appreciated for all you've done.
Shout out Heather.
But yeah, on the topic of reading, like I've tried to pick it up a little bit, instead of just like being on my phone all day long. I really like the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, so I decided to get the autobiography and read that. Because I wanted to learn a little bit more about what he did exactly and how it was illegal. And that was a great read. I finished it yesterday. It's about 500 pages, so it is a pretty long book, but I'm definitely glad I read it. It's pretty crazy though. There are a lot of illegal activities described in the book, so I don't think it's for everyone. But I enjoyed it. I definitely would recommend it.
Do you
I
look
don't know how much in detail I should go, how appropriate that may be, but definitely a good book.
do you look up to Jordan Belfort?
No, the movie like sort of makes you want to, but once you read the book, you realize like all his personal struggles, and you hear about all that type of stuff and how difficult it was on him. He also did some terrible things. He's not a very good guy, so I definitely don't look up to him. And I'm glad I read the book so I could see that he's not just this idol who has all this money and this insane lifestyle. He's definitely not a role model and not a guy young kids should look up to. So I think when people watch the movie, they need to realize that.
For vacations, a lot of people have been actually going to like different places. Like I know some people have been going to Tahoe, and like I know people in Tahoe, Will, you said like some of them aren't super happy about like the tourism, and they think it's like a risk of COVID. What was like the TikTok you said again? That you saw?
Yeah, so I know a lot of Tahoe locals, a lot of employees and people in that area are getting pretty fed up with how many people they specifically call. I saw a TikTok where they specifically called out Palo Alto, and it really just the whole Bay Area in general. There's such a big influx of people going up, and I think we need to be careful with that because I know that there aren't quite the resources in terms of ICU beds and that kind of thing in the Tahoe area. So we need to be really careful that we're not spreading COVID up there because that can be very detrimental to the area and to the people there.
This year though, I've also heard that like they're limiting the number of people on the slopes, so they're giving like a lot of priority to like people who have like season passes, which means that like I think I don't know if exactly, but like effectively like you need like a season pass at some time. So I feel like the people who are skiing, I feel like most of the people that are skiing right now just have season passes, which kind of sad because like it means that like people who aren't like as committed and dedicated skiers like can't really ski. I got a 4-day pass and I was like planning to use it like sometime next semester, especially with online school. But like, I hope that like if they like limit the number of people and they don't let me go over there, I wonder if like they'll like refund it or something. But yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to go up over winter break, but our Airbnb was canceled on us, which is probably a good thing. They're really trying to stop people going up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love snowboarding. It's one of my favorite things to do in the world. But I think it's a personal decision to really go up. And my family and I think we maybe in a month we'll see what what the restrictions look like. But I think for now we're gonna at least try to wait it out and be responsible.
Mm-hmm. I wonder about tourism in other places too. Like I know Thanksgiving like wasn't really tourist, but I know that like led into a giant spike of like the COVID cases because people were going to see their families.
Yeah.
Is that just an airport thing, or is it like does it affect people when like how much like more does it? I'm not trying to like sorry. Does it like really impact them that greatly, and how do people feel about that? Do you guys know?
I feel like for everybody, for a lot of people, it's like it's like a no question that they have to be with like certain people over like the holidays and stuff. And it's like obviously like a selfish mentality. But I feel like it's kind of like I feel like most people are kind of doing like the same thing. You know what I mean? Like during the holiday season, like a lot of people traveled, and like during Christmas, a lot of people traveled. And obviously, that's definitely not ideal. I think that like what's more important than like what people doing that, it's like if you do that though, at least like follow like the protocol for like afterwards, which is like wait to get tested before you go out and stuff like that, because that's like I think that's how it spreads more kind of, because then like people go back to where they can like to where they're from, and like
Mm-hmm.
and then they go spread it there.
Yeah,
I was thinking I was kind of interested. I'm going down to Newport Beach tomorrow and meeting one of my friends there, and like I was asking like how open it is there in terms of outdoor dining and stuff. And even though I think Southern California is like worse than us, he was saying that like yeah, it's like everything's pretty much open. It's just like go, and like outdoor dining, it's just like go at your own risk. And I thought like it's kind of interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, and really just a couple of days coming off of Christmas, we'll really see what kind of effects getting together had in terms of COVID numbers once the data starts to roll out. Just like where exactly we stand relative to like a month ago at Thanksgiving.
I'm pretty optimistic about the vaccine, though. I saw somewhere the other day that like 1 million people in the U.S. have already received their first dose of the vaccine, and that's been in like about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, I think. So I'm like optimistic that if it can continue at the same trajectory, or like maybe even like increase, that like maybe by like next summer, like we can like life can like begin to return to like normalcy a little bit. That would be exciting. But I guess it's also maybe a little far fetched. I don't want to like get my hopes up too much.
A lot of our doctor friends have been getting the vaccine, and it's just like really interesting. And they keep posting about it on Facebook. They're like, I got the vaccine, but it's just like, oh, like it's here and people are getting it. So like that just gives me a lot of hope. I don't know, like kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Going off of what you're saying about like Newport Beach being kind of like open, I know like 5 families that are going to like Taiwan over Christmas break. I don't know why, but apparently it's like very safe to go there now, and like everybody's traveling there. And I thought that was really interesting. I don't know.
will it be very safe for long then if everyone goes? Like
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah, you wonder like how restrictive they're being letting people in.
yeah. Um, I know there's been a lot of like a lack of sports coverage at Pally during like this time, where there's not any really Pally sports, and the Bay Area sports aren't doing so well. So we have some things to say. We like the Warriors especially haven't doing anywhere near what they've been doing for like the past few years. I know Clay is injured. If you guys saw, Marquise Chris got like tore like a fibula, broken fibula, I think, and he's out for a while too. What do you think the Warriors go next?
Well, like in my opinion, I just never thought the Warriors were going to be that good this year. I think a lot of people like I had a lot of friends that I considered like somewhat delusional. Uh, like the Warrior. Like I feel like people forget that they like had KD for the past like 3 years, and like obviously they won a championship in 2015, but the league is also like 10 times better than it was then. Like they're like four super teams right now. So I just like when they were saying that they're like their championship contender, like gonna go to the Western Conference Finals. Didn't I just like didn't agree whatsoever. So I was kind of like, and you always hate to see a player go down, especially like a good guy like Clay. So like, and I was actually pretty sad about that, especially because like he had rehabbed for like a year. But like more than that, like I was just like unhappy like the Warriors wouldn't be at full strength. You know what I mean? Because like I wanted them to like. It's not fun like a player is like if a team isn't as good as they can be. But even afterwards, now that they don't have Clay, things aren't looking too good for them. I hope that like I don't hope, but we'll see if they can turn it around.
Yeah, as a Warriors fan, hearing about that Clay injury was pretty heartbreaking. Not going without him for the second year in a row, and then having to watch the first two games, the Brooklyn game that was pretty god awful, the Milwaukee game also pretty bad. Although that last Bulls game was pretty exciting with that game winner at the end,
Yeah, that was nice.
the 1 point win. So we'll see. My expectations aren't super high. I still think definitely playoffs. We'll have to see. But with basketball, I don't know. It's just so dominated by the low seeds, the 1, the 2 seed. And I think the NBA playoffs are very, very predictable. There aren't a whole lot of upsets. So again, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead. I was gonna say that's a different because it's like in the NBA since it's a 7 game series. Like unlike football, it's not like any given day. Like the best team like wins like more than 90% of the time. Like I think like even the Heat made a run this year, but like that's the first time that, like a low seed has really made the finals. So
In recent memory, yeah, I can't really think of something like that. But that sort of transitions well into like talking about the Washington football team. Ziggy, I know you're a big fan, and going into the playoffs with a losing record is pretty rare. I don't think it's happened for 10 years, but it's going to happen with the winner of the NFC East. And it's crazy because you could go 7-9 and potentially make a playoff run because it's just a 1 game series.
yeah,
Underdogs do prevail. Like if you remember the 2010 Seahawks, they beat the defending champions Saints because of that crazy run by Marshawn Lynch. And really anything can happen in a 1 game series. Like that's why I think people like March Madness so much. Like it was very disappointing we didn't get that this year, and I'm hopeful that we will. And I sort of prefer that playoff format where anything goes.
weren't the Giants also a losing record, or were they not when they won the Super Bowl?
I think they were 8-8, but I'm not sure.
The 2011 Giants.
No, the 2007 ones.
Yeah, maybe 8-8. I'm not sure.
For me, it's just like, yeah, I was pretty frustrated that we couldn't clinch yesterday. Fortunately, we released Dwayne Haskins today. Probably like the best news I've woken up to in like a while. But I think that like I'm confident that we can win next week against Philadelphia, and then we're making a playoff run if we get there.
Are all 4 teams still alive?
No, the Eagles are out, but we basically have to win. If we win, we're in. If we lose, we're out. Because if we lose, then the winner of the Giants Cowboys game is going to take it.
So essentially, week 17 is a playoff game. Next year after the playoffs.
Yeah, like basically. But I mean, we do have the privilege to like control our own fate, which I think is like obviously something that you want. So like, now we got to just do what we got to do.
What happened with the NFC East this year? I know like all of them have losing records right now, and they even play each other too. So do they like lose every single like out of conference game or out of division game? Like what's going on with them?
Well, there was like a period of time where like no team in the in the division had won a game against a team with a winning record. But like I feel like people have like seem to overlook like the NFC East has been like pretty trash for like the past like 2 or 3 years. Like I think last year's winner was like 9-7, and the winner before that was 9-7. Like the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and the Cowboys were good the year before that. But it's like I think we've had the past 3 years we had the winner of our division has had like the worst record going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a good thing. Like the Niners could be competing in the play in their division right now, and they're like in the AFC. Like you have 10-5 teams that are gonna miss out, but you know.
Yeah, that's a very different story with the NFC West, which I think. I mean, I don't know how blatant the opinion is, but I think it's undisputedly the best division in football. I know a lot of people share that opinion. At least at the beginning of the season, that's what everyone was saying. So as a 49ers fan, it's tough to see really, really struggle with injuries this year. And I think that, I don't know, next year, depending on what we do with the quarterback situation, I'm still happy with Garoppolo. That's the route we decide to go. Also going after like a trade for a guy like Matthew Stafford, I think would be very exciting. And I think if we're able to really fix that position, we're going to be a top contender in the NFC once again. Ziggy, I'm not sure how you feel. I know you're a bit of a Niners hater.
No, I'm not a Niners hater. I actually retired that title a few weeks ago. It's hard to hate on a team that's down right now. I have no faith in Jimmy Garoppolo though. I just don't think he's a winning quarterback. I don't know why you guys wasted so much money on him. But if you want to run it back with him, sure. Also, I think the AFC North might be the best division in the league.
Yeah, the AFC North is what I was thinking too. Like the Steelers, the Browns, the Ravens aren't bad, I guess.
Yeah, but also like the NFC West would also be like a lot better if like the Niners were healthy. So I mean, we'll see next year. Bay Area fans, like definitely a tough year for them with all these injuries for like both.
There is hope, I think.
Yeah.
It's too bad because a lot of us are going to be going away from the Bay Area, going to college. Yeah. But definitely going to remain a fan of the teams here, no matter where I end up.
Is Kittle injured right now?
He actually played, and he played pretty well. Like he didn't have the kind of monster day that people were getting used to out of him, but definitely a good thing to see.
Didn't he have like 100 receiving yards?
I don't think he had quite 100, but he had a good amount, yeah. I'm gonna look that up though. I'm not sure.
Also, like this time of the year is like fantasy football playoffs, and like for a lot of people, I think that's very stressful. I sometimes think like fantasy football causes like more hardship than it does and stress more than it does anything else, especially like knowing like when they're like super competitive leagues with like a lot on the line. Like for Will and I's league, there's like, there's $250 that can be won. And the last place person, it's like undecided right now, but like trying to get, we should like decided that most leagues do like a punishment. They just predetermined one. There was a little bit of controversy like for us about like whether or not it was decided, but we were thinking like a performance outside of Pizza My Heart for like the loser. I know another league that's forcing the loser to like get an airbender haircut, like an arrow shaved onto their like shave an arrow, and like that just sounds so terrible. Like some leagues like shave eyebrows and stuff. So like I mean, there can definitely be a lot on the line for them, and so
I think it's important to mention though that we don't condone any kind of hazing behavior like that. So any sort of last place punishment, because there is a very, very thin line between fun and just blatant like harassment to that degree. But I agree with you, Ziggy. Like fantasy football can be extremely stressful on a Sunday night. Like when you're a couple points off and you're just screaming at the TV, hoping for your running back to just get one more touchdown, get you the points to get over the hump and get the victory of the week. And especially this year, like I've been very, very frustrated because it's just something you can't control at all. Fantasy football, it's really just to watch and pray for the best.
No, definitely some of the worst days I've had are like Sunday evenings, like when you postpone all your work to watch football, and like your team loses, your fantasy football team loses, and you procrastinated all this work for Sunday night that now you have to do before school tomorrow. So like I feel like Sundays can either go like I feel like Sundays never like are mediocre. Like they're either like really good or like really bad. And like
Yeah.
so yeah.
Definitely.
Remember I saw his video on a Monday once, and he was really like, it was like his team had just done really bad, and he was like, I hate everything. My fantasy team is awful. And it was just so funny.
Yeah. It can be tough sometimes.
Do you guys ever root against your favorite teams when your fantasy team players on the other team? Because I know like week 3 or something, my favorite team, the Raiders, was playing the Patriots, but the players on my fantasy team, Newton and Julian Edelman, and they were like going off, and I was so happy even though the Raiders were getting blown out.
That's where I draw the line. I can never root against my own team, the 49ers. Although sometimes touchdowns are inevitable on the other team, and when it just so happens to be a player that's on my fantasy team, there's a lot of gray area there.
Mm-hmm.
Brayden, I have Julian Edelman too, but he's been on my bench like this entire time.
Yeah, he's been injured for a while. I dropped him.
I didn't use him at all in fantasy.
Yeah, no, for me actually yesterday, I started Curtis Samuel and the Panthers were playing my team, Washington football team. In fact, like I had like another receiver, Jameson Crowder, that was like I was debating between, and Crowder actually ended up doing better. And if I had started him, I might have actually ended up winning the league. But regardless, Curtis Samuel had like a really good game too. And like I watched him just like obliterate our defense, and I was like, wow, like on one hand, we're not clinching a playoff spot, and I'm pretty pissed about this. But on the other hand, like I might just win $200 because of you. So, thanks. I saw this really cool like tweet that was like fans, like if a player wins you your fantasy football league, consider donating like a portion of your winnings to a cause that they support. And I thought that I feel like that's like a super cool like thing that you can do because like they're Alvin Kamara definitely won some leagues this year. like and I forgot exactly what his cause is, but he does have a cause that like he invests a lot of time and energy into. So like I feel like for people who are winning like hundreds, thousands of dollars from their fantasy leagues, like just giving a little bit to a player's cause, I think that's a really cool thing that a lot of people can do.
Definitely, I think that's an awesome thing to do. I know like the My Claws, My Cleats, like NFL thing is super cool to me, and I like see it on TV sometimes, like they're decorated cleats, and it's super like awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Campanile podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.